All right. So, hi there, everyone. I am Vitto, leading developer experience at Alchemy. For those that don't know what Alchemy is the only scalable, reliable, and accurate blockchain infrastructure. What we do is we create web-free developer tools, and we are an RPC provider that are some of the biggest developer web-free tools out there and decentralized application out there. Some of the data here, I don't know if you can hear me right. I'm trying to regulate the voice based on the headphones. Some of the data here is we had more than $150 billion in on-chain transactions in the last 3 years, or 50 plus million unique devices that hit our RPC providers, or even more because of these 50 plus million unique mobile devices that hit our RPC providers. Also, 99% of the countries worldwide are used at least once our services. Now, this means a lot. This means a lot also for the ecosystem, and because of that, we're powering some of the major NFT platforms out there. Some of the names you can see here: OpenSea, Axie, Nifty Gateway, Immutable, Maker's Place, Super Rare, Dapper, and so on and so forth. But not just NFTs. We also power some of the biggest DeFi platforms out there in the ecosystem. Just Maker, Opera, DYDX, Aave, OpenSea again, Balancer. They have some DeFi stuff, Zapper, 0x, and so on and so forth. Locking 59% of the total value locked into DeFi platforms to date. So it's kind of big. Of course, we're not just in Web3. We're also working with big Web2 companies, such as Adobe, Shopify, Stripe, Plank, some of the biggest SaaS companies in the world, some of the biggest social applications, such as Meta in the world, and some of the biggest fintech giants. Now, here you can also see other data about some of the Fortune 500 companies that we're powering. But the question here is, why do they use Alchemy? What makes Alchemy the perfect solution for these platforms? So we built, in the last few years with our engineers, the most reliable, scalable, and accurate infrastructure from the ground up. Introducing supernode. So for those that never heard supernode is a developed proprietary distributed blockchain engine that solves 3 main problems that if you're a Web3 developer, and assume you are, you have encountered in your life. And it's node scalability, data incorrectness, and node reliability. Now, when we talk about node scalability, think about the internet in early 2000, when you had to spin up your own servers. Your engineers had to put hours and hours of work into creating this scalable infrastructure to go from 10 users to 1 billion users. 2006, the cloud became a thing, and we found servers on demand, Amazon AWS. You could scale your application to billions of users without having tens of thousands of engineers. Data incorrectness, same big problem in Web3. That means if you have 10 nodes, and if you try to hit node 56, and you ask how much ETH does Vitto have, then that node might tell you 100. Then you hit node 57, and that node might tell you 110. Then you hit node 58, and it will tell you 105. And the problem at that point as a developer is, what is the correct answer? How much ETH this person has? Thanks to the supernode, you can see a simplified architecture here. We solve this, giving you the latest available data on-chain every single time. Last but not least, node reliability. The problem is if your nodes go down and your decentralized application goes down, your users won't complain us, but will complain you as a developer. And we care about that, so we make sure that we're up most of the times. But how much is most of the times? Some data here. What impact does all of this have? Well, in 2022, we tested our infrastructure thoroughly. And for example, we run 1,072,000 times the ETH block number RPC call that tells you what is the latest block available on the chain. And on this number, over 24 hours, we had 0 ecosystem blocks against an average of 700 ecosystem blocks on our competitors. Or let's talk about downtime. Alchemy in 2022, Q1 had 0 hours downtime versus a bunch of hours for competitors. What is the impact of all of this? Instant scale for millions of users. This is what happened when Alchemy started supporting Polygon. This was July 2021, if I'm not wrong, and this is what happened to the Polygon ecosystem adoption, thanks to probably our scalable infrastructure. We have an amazing quote from Sandeep that essentially tells, that is Polygon CEO, that tells that Alchemy was the RPC provider they needed and has all the services and changed the way people build products on Polygon. But let me go quickly through this because this is not the core of this presentation. Today we want to show you a new tool that we built for developers to make your life even more easy. Now, super quick here, let me see if I can use the light laser. On the bottom, you can see all the chains that we support. There are a bunch. All the services I just spoke about are available on all of these chains. On the top, you can see the products that we're building on top of our supernode. And not just, of course, reliable infrastructure, but also reliable APIs, ways to monitor how your application is doing. And we support all of our customer NFT API to fetch data on the blockchain and all the tools to build applications without thinking too much about the overhead of developing these technologies on your own. Now, imagine if you could build a full stack decentralized applications with all the services we just spoke about in just 4 minutes. And that application is production ready, so you can just build it and push it on Vercel or any hosting provider you're using, AWS. Composable, so it reflects your needs. Comprehensive, as everything you need. Easy to modify and make yours. It's not cumbersome. The code is easy to read, and you can change it on your needs. And open source, so you can read the code, make changes, create issues, and help us developing this solution. Once again, introducing Create Web3 DApp, the ultimate tool for Web3 developers to build their decentralized applications in 4 minutes. Now, before moving forward, if you want to follow along, you're welcome. You can also join this Telegram group here, where we have a bunch of the users that are testing out, and we're giving real-time support, t.me/createweb3dapp. That said, let's dive in right away. Now, if you don't see my terminal because the contrast is not good, let me know. I tried to make it as contrasted as possible. That should be good. Is it good? Amazing. So what I'm going to do right now is first show you a website. So if you navigate to createweb3dapp.alchemy.com, what you will see is the quick start on how to get started with this tool. As you can see, it's very, very easy. You just need to go on your terminal and run this command. But let me take a couple of seconds just to show what you can do with Create Web3 DApp and then see how you can do it. So first and foremost, you can create decentralized application in 4 minutes. What does it mean? You can start in 2 ways. You can start using pre-built templates or empty applications. Now, the power, if you're familiar with Vercel and Next.js, you might have seen their offer of templates. They have hundreds and hundreds of templates that allow you to create Web2 applications, normal applications, right away just cloning a template. With Create Web3 DApp, we're doing the same, but for Web3 applications. So we're putting together different actors in the ecosystem. Think about Bioeconomy, think about Lens Protocol, Flick, Liquid Protocol, LivePeer, and so on and so forth. And we're bringing all of them into Create Web3 DApp, creating these templates for developers ready to use. At the moment, this is an NFT Explorer we're going to see in a few seconds. But on top of that, because our own mission, I want to repeat that, our main mission, I want to repeat that, is to make developers' life easier and means taking away all the struggle about thinking how to create things, but just experiment and build amazing products and build amazing solutions. We also did the simplest thing that can come to your mind. We built these components. We built a bunch of components, a bunch of modular pieces for decentralized applications for you already. So if you navigate here, again, createweb3dapp.alchemy.com, you scroll, you can see we already have a bunch of these components, such as NFT gallery, NFT collection info display, NFT minter, balances display, and so on and so forth. And all of these things are based on our services, infrastructures, and APIs. Once again, we want to bring in all the actors from the ecosystem, such as Lens Protocol. So think about social media component there, or think about Uniswap swap component there, ready for you to copy and paste into your code. But let's see how it works. So I'm going to split my screen here just to make sure. Let's see if I can do this. You can follow along. 1, 2. So as the website describes here, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. I'm just going to run npx create web3 dapp at latest. Once again, if you want to follow along, definitely join the Telegram group so we can debug live. And once you run this command, this is what you'll see. Oops, let me enlarge a little bit. Ashi doesn't work well with responsiveness. This is the first thing you'll see. This is a polite CLI builder, so it will welcome you in the CLI building process. We check for updates. Make sure to run with @latest because npm caches your packages. You might not use the latest available package while you're running just npm create web3 dapp. With latest, it will give you the latest package. First question is name of the application. I'm going to call it interop is great. And then here, you have the first decision that you have to make. That is, you want to start from a full stack, default full stack decentralized application, or you want to start from a pre-built template, as we've seen before. Now, we're going to explore both of them. It's going to be just like a bakery program, so I'm not going to download everything live, even if it takes only 4 minutes, but just for the sake of the demo. I will start with a default full stack application to show you what you can select. And here, it will ask me, what chain am I building for? As you can see there, we have almost all the chains that are supported by Alchemy, but not all of them. And the reason is very simple, is because every release we do for Create Web3 DApp needs to respect the points that we've seen before. Production ready, composable, open source, reliable, and so on and so forth. So we made sure that on these chains, these applications are fully reliable. In this case, I'm going to go on with Ethereum. It's going to ask me if I want to use the mainnet or I want to deploy on the testnet. Testnet, hardnet, I have the timer there, amazing. Hardnet, so here, that's the other question we can answer to the CLI builder. Do we need a blockchain development environment? Now, I'm assuming that all of you are familiar with the blockchain development environment, but just to make sure, how many of you are familiar with Hardnet? Okay, how many of you are familiar with Foundry? Gorgeous. So here, we can install Hardnet. Foundry, same as before, is already supported. We're just waiting to release it because we want to make sure that everything works seamlessly. I'm going to go on with Hardnet. And here starts the funky, fancy part where you can create a smart contract directly through your CLI. So here, I'm going to hit yes, and it's going to ask me what kind of smart contract do I want to create. We have a bunch of standards. We're going to move forward with an ERC 7021. The other three, so ERC 1155, ERC 20, and 7021 are based on the Open Zeppelin audited libraries. So all the contracts that come out of these are fully audited, as much as Open Zeppelin Smart Contract Wizard. For the ERC 7021A, for those that are not familiar, it comes from Azuki. So it wasn't fully audited, and we want to make sure it's fully secure, so we're waiting to implement that. We're going to move forward with ERC 7021. Name of the contract, again, I'm going to call it interop. It's going to infer the symbol of my contract. And then I can import the libraries, just like we do on Open Zeppelin. So burnable, posable. The description for every library appears right nearby the title. So votes, ownable. I'm not going to use roles because ownable and roles together don't really make sense. Am I done selecting contract features? Yes. And then it's going to ask me if I have an Alchemy account. Now, this is not just to gatekeep you because we don't want you to use the CLI tool without an Alchemy account, but it's because when we build the dapp for you, we're actually setting up everything. Starting from the RPC node to all the API keys to everything you might need to get started. Think about when you have to install all the boilerplates for your application and it takes hours and hours. We're doing that for you. So it's going to ask me if I already have an Alchemy account. I'm going to press yes. It's going to open my Alchemy dashboard. Again, for those that are not familiar with the Alchemy dashboard, here I have listed all the decentralized applications I've built on top of Alchemy and all the RPC endpoints. So I can click on my Alchemy application, that is just a demo application. Here I have a very simple to read dashboard that tells me the success rate of my calls, throughput, limited, success in the last 24 hours in the last hour, concurrent requests in the last hour, invalid requests in the last hour. I can explore everything from here. I can see what made our request invalid, just clicking on here. I just want to glimpse over these and get the key for my application. So I'm going to click on View Key, copy the API key from here, and paste it on my CLI builder. Once I click Enter, now the CLI builder will go on, will move forward, and build that decentralized application for you. As I told you a few seconds ago, we're going to do something like a bakery program that looks like a bakery program. So I'm going to interrupt the process here and CD into the standard application. That is just like the things that we built here. Same selections. I already downloaded 5 minutes before starting the speech. So CD here, code to enter to start the code base, to start VS Code. And what is going to happen here, I'll be presented with 2 folders. So this is opinionated, but not too much. Best practices probably to build decentralized applications using Next.js. Backend folder has my Hardnet folder. So let me just delete these, that is to, here we go. So we will have a contracts folder with our contract. This is called my contract just because I didn't rename it interop before. And the contract is a fully functional contract with all the things you need to kickstart your ERC 7021 collection or whatever you want to do with an NFT standard. In the scripts, you already have the deployment script already created for you. So it will make sure that it's ready to be deployed. In the package.json, you will already have a couple of scripts to deploy to the testnet, deploy on the mainnet, node, deploy local. You can explore it directly in the documentation and just open in the package.json. But also, because we selected Ethereum and testnet, we also have rdet.config already set it up. So you don't have to do absolutely anything. You can just move forward and actually deploy your smart contract. So let's go in our terminal, open package.json so we can see what script are we running. And I'm going to run npm run dev. Oh, sorry. Before doing that, just because we don't want you to insert your private keys into the CLI builder, no responsibilities, you will have, of course, if you want to deploy your smart contracts, to add your private key into your .env file. Let me zoom in a little bit, that I feel like is a little small. So here, I went ahead. As you can see, the Alchemy API key has already been pre-populated by the CLI builder. Private key there is my MetaMask private key. Now we're going to deploy our smart contract on Gurley. If you don't have Gurley ETH, no worries at all. We got you covered at Alchemy. You can go on gurleyfaucet.com. And if you have an Alchemy account, you can request 0.5 Gurley ETH every 24 hours. I already requested a bunch today, so likely I already have enough to deploy our smart contract. But if you want to do it and you don't have enough, you can just go there, add your Ethereum address here, log in on Alchemy, and click on Send Me ETH. Now, going back here, I'm going to npm run, I'm going to cd into my backend folder, and then run npm run deploy testnet, as you can see there. And as you can see, this is moving forward. Oh, I don't have enough funds. I asked too much. So let me see if we can use another wallet address. Oh, it's super expensive today to deploy on Gurley. Anyway, I'm going to use this DGen account. Let me get the private keys. You can copy the private keys. They are all fake accounts. So account details, export private key. Get your private key so we can see the flow. I'm going to copy this, go back to my .env file, substitute it here, go on our Gurley faucet, and copy my address. Luckily, I should be able to get my, let me see if I already have some Gurley here. Okay. I can do this, but I need to detach a second from, can I detach a second from the screen? Okay, no, I'm going to do this another way. I'm going to be my own faucet. So I'm going to copy my account here, go on account 9, send, I don't know, 3 Gurley. Network is busy, we noticed that. Give me a couple of seconds for Gurley to approve the transaction, and we will have enough Gurley to actually deploy our smart contract. We have 10 minutes left. We can do it. So once this has been sent, let's see if I can speed up a little bit. Next time we will use Mumbai, I promise. But once we'll have received our Gurley ETH, we'll be able to go back to our Visual Studio Code and run npm run deploy testnet. This is going to fail for the same reason as before, because we don't have enough ETH. Let me check one thing super quickly. And yeah, okay, we did it. So as you can see, once you have enough Gurley, once the faucet works, you can ask for 0.5 every day, every 24 hours. Otherwise, you can deploy on Mumbai, or you can use your ETH. It's going to deploy the smart contract on Gurley. The address is already there. And that's it. You already created an ERC 1721 smart contract directly through your CLI, deployed it without changing a single line of code. You just need to get your hands on some Gurley ETH faucet. Now, that said, we also have, of course, the front-end part of all of this. So let me go back in my front-end folder, and let me npm run dev. So this is going to open the application we created. So as you can see, I didn't change anything on the code. The application already comes with Rainbow Kit installed and a bunch of documentation there that we're going to look into in a few seconds. The first thing we need to do is get this started by editing the page index.js. So I'm going to go back into our project folder, pages. How many of you are familiar with Next.js? Okay, so some context about Next.js. Next.js is like, how many of you are familiar with React? Okay, Next.js is like React, but on steroids. So essentially, instead of having that all the routing problem that you need to create routes for all the pages, or APIs you need your Express or Node.js instance, you can create APIs directly using Next.js, and all the files that are put inside the pages directory will be considered as pages. So now the first thing I'm going to do is just what the page tells me, so delete the instructions component. By deleting the instructions component and refreshing, I can start from scratch. So this is a blank application with RainbowKit and WAGMI already implemented, and of course the logo that you can change. Now we can go back to the website that we seen at the start and scroll down a little bit and start having some fun with these components. So as you can see, we have a step-by-step tutorial on how to implement all of these. So the first thing I'm going to do is close my terminal and put my VS Code right nearby it so we can follow along. So let me minimize these and go put it on the right. 1 and 2, make it smaller. The first thing I'm going to do is, in the component folder, create a new component and call it nftgallery.jsx. The second thing is go in the styles folder here and create a new file and call it nftgallery.module.css. And the third thing I'm going to do is create 2 new API endpoints. This is how easy it is to create API endpoints on Next.js. I can just go in the API folder, create a new file, and call it getNFTs for collection.js, and another file for, did I write JSX? Yes. And create a new file called getNFTs for owner. GetNFTs for owner.js. Now, second step is copy the code. How do I copy the code? As you can see, we have a preview tab there that actually shows the component and how this will work. Let me go here. It's also responsive, so you can check responsiveness of the components right here. If you're familiar with Chakra templates, it's very similar how Chakra templates work. Then I can go under the code tab, copy the code here, just clicking on the button, and paste the code into my component file that we just created, NFT gallery. Then I can go back on the website and go under the API tab. And as you can see, we have 2 APIs there, getNFTs for collection, getNFTs for owner. We have 5 minutes left, so we might not be able to go through these. Please join the Telegram channel to understand how the code works. We will debug live there. But I'm going to do the same. So getNFTs for collection, copy the code here, go back in the API folder, getNFTs for collection, and paste it here. As you can notice, no errors at all. getNFTs for owner, back, copy the code here, change the file, and boom, last but not least, the styles, because we want our NFT gallery to look good. You can change everything. We went for a pure CSS approach, so you can change the way you want. You can implement Tailwind. We are thinking about implementing Tailwind, TypeScript, Chakra, and so on and so forth. At the moment, it's everything pure CSS, so copying the code here, going into our styles folder, paste into here. And that's essentially it. So in our application now, there is a functional component, the NFT gallery. Let's test it out. How do I implement these components? Step 3 of the tutorial you can see on the website will tell you how to implement the components. If you're not familiar with Next.js, this is exactly how you do that. So I'm going to go back in my index.js page here. And what I'm going to do is write NFT. And as you can see, the the auto-completion will pop up. NFT gallery will be implemented, so I press enter. If it doesn't work because VS Code goes funky, you can, it's a nitty thing, but you can click Command-Shift-P, will open this panel, and you can just write reload window. This will reload the window and get the NFT. Otherwise, you can import it manually here from import NFT gallery from components. Now, the NFT gallery accepts a bunch of props. If you're familiar with React, you also know what props are, but you can check them here. So wallet address, collection address, chain, and page size. Wallet address, address of a wallet, collection address, address of a collection, chain, and page size. 1 and 2 is exclusive. So or you pass a wallet address or you pass a collection address. We're going to test it out with a wallet address. So back in our index page, first thing first, wallet address. This totally works with ENS domains. Now, Any one of you wants to give me their ENS domain or wallet address so we can fetch your NFTs? Okay, do you have a microphone? How do you spell it? W, okay. W-A. W. Y-A. Boy? Coin. Ah, coin. Why a coin? Got you. .eth? Okay. Then we have to select a chain. Amazing. This is documented in the documentation. If you want to take a look at the documentation, you can go here and click on docs. All the components are fully documented. I'm speeding up because we have 2 minutes. So chain here is going to be ETH mainnet, I guess. Right? Yeah. ETH mainnet. And then the page size. Now, I don't know how many NFTs Wirecoin has, but just for the sake of the presentation, we're just going to fetch 20. So page size is going to be 20, and it's a number. And then we can close it. Now, if everything works as expected, doing this should have created an NFT gallery in our index page. Let's see. Probably not. No, yes. As you can see, are these your NFTs? Amazing. So we have a fully fledged NFT gallery working on the index page in a few seconds without writing a single line of code. This is super fast to create. You can test in other ways. You can see how these components work, like cloning one of our templates. So let me just go super quickly in 2 minutes in my terminal. You can test the other components on your own. Everything is documented. On the Telegram channel, we have 24-hour support for you to check out. And if you have problems, just ask a question there. I want to go back and let me see if I have the application we want. We should have template dapp. Amazing. And I'm going to write code dot. This is going to open the template application. Do you remember when during the CLI builder we could decide between start from scratch or clone a template? That's what we did. That's what happens when you clone a template. So you'll end up having a fully fledged decentralized application ready to be used. So I can go on my terminal. I didn't change a single line of code. It's just like if I did it live right now and run npm run dev. This will spin up my decentralized application. And here I have my NFT Explorer ready to be used. As you can see, you can explore NFTs in many different ways. This is vitalik.eth wallet with the spam filter on. The NFT API at Alchemy allows you to filter out all of the spam NFTs. Now, you know this might be a problem, especially if you're fetching on Polygon and I'll choose because it's very cheap to deploy NFTs. But if I turn off the hide spam, you can see probably that Vitalik has a bunch of spam. It's incredible. Yeah, that's the NFT spam thing. I will show you later on because we're having a problem with the connection here, so I'm not really fetching live. So here we have the collection, fetch NFTs by collection. You can fetch all the NFTs in a collection. Not so easy if you don't have like all the data of all the collection that have been deployed on the blockchain until now. And last but not least, you can also fetch by connected wallet. So for example, these are my NFTs, not financial advice, don't buy them. That's just my degen stuff going on. But yeah, you can try it, you can explore the code, see how it works. And of course, this is fully open source. So if there is a template you want to have ready to use on Create Web3 Dapp, you think there should be a template, or there are components that you want us to implement, please just let us know on the Telegram group or on our Discord servers, and we'll be super happy to help you out. Now, we have 10 seconds left. I don't think we have time for an AMA, but if you have questions, we'll be here for the next hours to answer everything you might have. And on Telegram, again, t.me/createweb3dapp. That said, thank you so much for these 30 minutes. It's been amazing, and have a great one.